I'm honored to bring you another video, and as many of you know, the Cleveland Cavaliers have got swept by the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. The Golden State Warriors winning another championship, Curry with 3 now, Durant with 2, and LeBron has lost another NBA Finals matchup. And now there's a big question. What's going to happen with LeBron? Clearly, this was a devastating loss for LeBron, and throughout these playoffs, you know, at times LeBron looked human and he looked tired, and clearly he may be looking to leave and go somewhere else. In this video, I want to discuss what I think is going to be happening with LeBron James going forward and where he potentially might go. Now, clearly we don't know. LeBron's going to be thinking about this throughout the free agency period, and I don't know exactly where he's going to go, but I can try to predict based on what I know and the situations with other teams. So in this video, I want to discuss the 3 destinations that I'm going to think that LeBron James is going to go to. I'm going to be going through the least likely to the most likely. So let's get on with it, and let's start up with this video. The first team that I believe LeBron may go to, we got to look at the LA Lakers. Now, the Lakers pose an interesting setup here. So the Lakers got a lot of cap space and they got some young talent. So let's talk about the cap space first. So the cap space will obviously allow them to sign LeBron James, but on top of that, potentially get a second superstar. You know, they could go out and look at getting Paul George or DeMarcus Cousins to help out with that roster. Or if they don't want to go out and get a second superstar, they could fill this team up with potentially a 6-man and some solid role players. And I'm looking at guys like Will Barton, Avery Bradley, and potentially even keeping Julius Randle, because I believe that Julius Randle has the potential to be a superstar in this league. And with LeBron James, who knows, he might be able to help out Julius Randle, because I do see some similarities in their game. Not exactly, but LeBron James could definitely help him out. Now, we also have to look at this core. We got to look at guys like Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, Josh Hart. These are guys that are up and coming and have the potential to become something great. And looking at this Lakers squad, you know, why wouldn't you want to come here? You know, they have young talent. This talent's in control for a couple of years. And it's possible that LeBron James is not going to have the load that he has in Cleveland. He's definitely going to have a lot more help than he did in Cleveland. So he could probably take a step back at times and not need to take over games as much as he did with Cleveland. Now, the only reason why I don't consider the Lakers the top destination here is for a couple reasons. A, this team is in the West, and the West is still stacked with some great teams. Obviously, you still have Golden State. You're still going to have Houston, and the Pelicans are coming up too. Denver as well. You know, Denver, Utah as well. You know, these are teams that are still coming up, and it's going to be a lot harder for LeBron to get to the finals. So, you know, he's definitely going to be looking at that. And on top of that, the Lakers haven't necessarily proven yet that they are a team ready to compete. Definitely, they have the talent, but they haven't proven that. And last year, they were one of the worst teams in the league, right? So does LeBron want to go here? It's possible that this team doesn't grow as much as it needs to at this point in the way he wants. And LeBron has stated that he still wants to compete for a championship. So on one end, LeBron might be in a situation with the Lakers where he could take a back seat and see this team grow, and, you know, doesn't have to put as much pressure on himself. But the team may not necessarily be ready once he goes there to compete right away. So LeBron's going to have to weigh those options. So that's my thought process on the Lakers. Let's get on with the next option. I think the next team that I believe that LeBron may go to, and a lot of folks may disagree with me on this, would be the Cleveland Cavaliers, and staying with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, hear me out on this. I think the major reason why he may end up staying there, or 2 reasons, would be his legacy and his family and community. I think, I'm starting with his family and community. I think his family and community are very big for LeBron, and I think that might definitely make him stay. If his family and his community, you know, pressure him to stay, I think he might be willing to stay back. You know, Cleveland's still in the Eastern Conference, so it would be a lot easier for him to get to the finals. The Western Conference is still a juggernaut. The East still hasn't gotten there yet. So it would definitely be easier for him. And I think he did come back to kind of, be closer to Cleveland, be closer to his town of Akron, and, help out that community. So I think LeBron could potentially stay there because of that. But I think there is a legacy portion here. I think if LeBron leaves, it will hurt his legacy. And I think the fact that LeBron does want to be that best basketball player of all time and be one of the greats, and, he wants to take himself out of that shadow of being compared. He wants to be alone on that throne, so to speak. Staying in Cleveland may be his best move. If he does that, people will respect that. And I think they'll want to see LeBron, see what he does next. I think if he does stay, he has to talk with the Cleveland Cavaliers management and basically be like, hey, you got to be creative with a lot of these moves and make this roster a bit better. I do think the Cavaliers have some assets here that can work going forward. Yes, they did mess up in this playoffs, but I feel like a lot of those guys were just scared and, were a bit shell-shocked because of playing with LeBron and being in that NBA Finals. A lot of those guys hadn't been there before. So I think a lot of those guys were just, on pause for a bit, just being there and having that pressure playing with LeBron James. But I think if LeBron James stays, works with these guys, I think there's some talent there that can continue to grow if he stays. And on top of that, we also have to remember Cleveland does have the 8th pick in this draft, so they do have some assets coming up. So, to kind of go forward with this as well, in terms of his legacy, he stays. A lot of people are saying this guy's committed to Cleveland and he wants to get it to the next level and he's willing to get this team to be a bit better. And it would be a great story if he did, and it would really help out his legacy. So I do think he could potentially stay here because of his legacy, to improve his legacy, and potentially because of his family and community. And that would be the reason why I think he stays. But obviously, we don't know for sure. But that is the second team that I think LeBron may go to. But now, we got to talk about the last one coming up next. Now, let's talk about the last team. The team that I think is most likely going to happen, where LeBron might go. And I feel like the team LeBron may end up going to is the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, hear me out. The Sixers do have the cap or the capacity to sign LeBron James while keeping the core of their roster right now. And that's kind of scary. Now, let's look at this. The 76ers sign LeBron James, and they would still have guys like Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Markelle Fultz, and Robert Covington. And on top of that, these guys are under control for several years. So, look at this. LeBron can go to this roster, and he doesn't have to be the guy. He can help out this roster to become a bit better. And he doesn't have that pressure of playing 40 minutes or 48 minutes a night. His minutes probably go down to probably high 30s, possibly mid 30s as well, given what this roster can do. Simmons can take over, Embiid can take over, and I do think, given Fultz this summer, I think Fultz has that potential to be that option for Philadelphia as well. And that's definitely scary considering everything that LeBron can go here. Doesn't have to be the guy. This team is ready to compete. And he's just inserted into this roster for several years. And he doesn't have that pressure of being the guy all the time. On top of that, the 76ers do have some capacity to do some other things. They do have that 10th pick that could potentially be something good. This draft is pretty deep, so the 76ers could potentially get a steal in this draft and build on what they have. And they probably can have some wiggle room in signing maybe a veteran as well. Who knows? Maybe Dwayne Wade and LeBron James have another reunion. So that's a possibility as well. 76ers are definitely a great place for LeBron to go. It's in the Eastern Conference. He can still compete. He's still competing for championships. And on top of that, he's not the guy. The pressure's taken off of him. And, this might prolong his career a bit longer. Because as we saw in this playoffs, he did look a bit tired at times. He did look human. But with the 76ers, it might prolong his career. And we might see LeBron be rejuvenated. A new style LeBron given this. So I do think the 76ers have a strong possibility of getting LeBron if he wants to compete for a championship. And I think it's the most ideal situation, given everything. But those are my thoughts on where I think LeBron's going to go. Now, note, I do want to talk about one team, which would be Houston. And a lot of folks might be saying, why not Houston? Why wouldn't LeBron go to Houston? That's a great team. They've done so much last year. But I do feel like LeBron doesn't really fit into that Houston style. You know, it's a fast-paced offense that deals with a lot of threes, and I don't think that's LeBron's style. And I think having LeBron and Houston come together, I don't think that works. I think it hurts both of them in a sense. So I don't think it's going to happen, but obviously LeBron's going to be thinking about that, but who knows what's going to happen here. Anyways, let me know what you think. Do you think my predictions make sense? Do you feel like these three teams have the potential of getting LeBron? Do you think there's another team that may get LeBron? Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Let's have that conversation. But anyways, folks, it's your boy Modern Speed signing off. Later, everyone.